He said, and so at the end of the day, the court of public opinion can be a bigger court than any court in the world. What 𝗏𝗏𝗶𝗀 said on his post, Mr. Pritam Singh says that any ruling by any court, bracket which will include the Court of Appeal, does not really matter as long as he wins elections. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch lah.
It is.
So maybe it is the timing that is the bigger thing, and maybe that's what got Tong Tong so riled up lah.
That means CNA did him dirty by releasing this interview right so close to judicial proceedings. This was recorded a while back, and they've had time to sit on it. If Edwin Tong wants to call up Pritam Singh, then we have to open that can of worms and ask what is the exact timeline of everything and what was taken out, what was not shown. And let's see the unedited episode.
Yes. Holiday season is here, and if you want to get your loved one the best Christmas present ever, stop whatever you're doing and listen up, because we have just launched our Folklory year-end sale. Now, if you're wondering what is Folklory, it's our audio service where we help you create a personalized podcast about your special someone, which they can listen to whenever they like. So let's say you want a Folklory for your mom. One of our interviewers will speak to you or someone you choose to get the best stories and memories about your mother. We'll then turn that conversation into a studio quality recording that you can give to your mom to show her how much you appreciate her. And she'll love it because we've created hundreds of Folklories and still have a 5-star rating on Google across multiple reviews. So yes, we've just launched our sale, so from now till 24th November, you'll get 20% off all orders at folklory.com using the promo code 𝗏𝗏𝗏20. And if you want to add on our custom Folklory Bluetooth speaker, styled as a good old cassette tape, you'll also get free shipping on all local orders. You've got 2 weeks, and if you do the recording before 5th December, we'll also guarantee it'll reach you in time for Christmas. So make your order at folklory.com or chat with us on WhatsApp. All the links are in the show notes. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man. Yeah. How was the weekend, Terrence?
Very artistic weekend for me.
Alamak, why?
Watched the movie, watched the play. Yeah, stuff I haven't done.
What movie?
In the Mood for Love, the 4K 25th anniversary screening. Yeah.
Which movie?
Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for Love.
Oh.
Have you heard of it before?
No.
Never?
No.
Oh, it's a film student favorite lah.
It's good.
Classic lah. It's a classic. I've never seen it in the cinema like that before. So.
Oh, you watched it in the cinema?
Yeah, cinema. Yeah.
Oh, okay, for the 25-year anniversary.
Yeah. They had a few special screenings at Lido. Yeah. So I think tonight might be the last one if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Oh, and then the play?
Jo Tan restaged a play that she made a while back called The Happy Place. I think you saw it as well.
Yeah. So I saw the original.
Yeah, she rewrote and redid everything, so it was actually very engaging as well.
It was based on her experience being a DJ or inspired.
Correct. Yeah. But now she added a lot more since the last time she staged it 3 months ago. She added a lot more that actually kind of related to what we're talking about climate change and everything as well. But just about what is the role of entertainment in the world that is basically self-destructing. Yeah, that's the premise of the show.
Oh, wow, such a cultured weekend.
I know, yeah.
You go use your culture pass or not?
Huh?
Culture pass?
No. I mean, Joe invited us to the show, so that one we had free tickets, right? The movie, no, you can't use culture pass for that movie.
Oh, that's true.
Not everything can culture pass.
I see.
How about you? What's your weekend like? What was your weekend like?
Went to the Cloud Forest and what was the Cloud Forest and Flower Dome?
The one with the dinosaurs right now.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a dinosaur thing.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you've been also?
Yeah.
Wow, the T-Rex really looks damn real.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter was quite scared.
She was. Unless you look from on top, then you can see the legs. It doesn't have legs.
No, got the upper thighs.
Upper thighs, yeah. But then below is nothing.
I don't think that's life size, right? Because the Brachiosaurus and all, the Diplodocus, there's no way that's life size. Because the Diplodocus is huge.
Yeah.
It's the Jurassic Park, the one that was on all fours, on 2 legs. You know, that one scene where they drive up and then there's this. Yeah. But it was very impressive. Very impressive. And then the Flower Dome was also very nice because there was a Jaipur-themed flower showcase.
Oh, what does that mean?
Yeah. I mean, Jaipur is in Rajasthan, India.
Okay.
I've never been to Rajasthan.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks beautiful, but they actually did a very good job with the decor. So in some way, like both the Flower Dome and Cloud Forest, I loved it for different reasons. Cloud Forest because there was the dinosaur exhibition and it was like it's multi-level kind of thing. The Flower Dome, sorry about that. The Flower Dome, the smells were amazing. Like all the different parts of the whole area was very, very captivating. And when I went on Saturday early afternoon, it wasn't as crowded as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
The forest event, the Cloud Forest was crowded, but the Flower Dome was pretty chill. Yeah, so highly recommended.
So you're proud to be Singaporean after seeing
Damn proud. I'm
Gardens
always
by the
damn
Bay.
proud. Always damn proud.
Your first time at Gardens by the Bay.
No lah. I haven't been to the Flower Dome or Cloud Forest for a while.
Okay.
So yeah lah, first time in a while.
Yeah. But
I walk every day. I'm a proud Singaporean.
Yeah, but even more so lah, because you experienced what you should be thankful for what the government has given you in the Gardens by the Bay lah, right?
Yes. Thank you. But it is like the Cloud Forest and Flower Dome are pretty spectacular.
The Jurassic one was quite surprised. Like usually surprise. I'm quite cynic about these kind of commercial themed events. But I found that this one was like, there's your foot below the table. Like, why you stretch so far over? Why you sit under like that? But I was just, I was quite surprised. Usually I'm quite cynical about the whole Flower Dome and everything. But the Jurassic one is quite impressive. Yeah. And very cohesive theme through the whole thing. But if you want life-size one, actually there's another one going on right now.
Science Center.
Yeah, the Science Center one. There you get to appreciate the full scale of the dinosaur.
Oh, is it?
Because they have, I think, the recreation of the actual bones. And you get to like walk underneath the bones. Then you feel, I understand what it means by this size.
I mean, definitely when my kids are older, I just want to inundate her with dinosaur stuff.
They probably will get to it themselves. You don't even need to do anything. School and everything.
But the Flower Dome actually was very, very impressive as well. Yeah, I mean, just because like the nice thing is the flowers are not cordoned off. I mean, it's not like a zoo, you don't have a moat or something. And generally people seem quite respectful about not like touching the flowers and all.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had the opposite experience. They're crowded and everyone's just like
Maybe it was a timing that we went like at about 1 p.m. plus on Saturday. Which I thought would be a lot more crowded. But it was quite nice. Of course, got crowd but it wasn't insane.
Yeah.
Like you could still, the common area is very easy to get a seat and just think about life. It was great.
You experience a bit of winter. There's aircon and everything also. Right?
Yeah. And I mean but it was damn hot The weather was damn hot, so it was also even more nice to be inside.
Yeah.
So it was cool. It was cool.
Oh, so full like dead activities really.
Yeah I mean now weekends it's just like it's the whole thing somehow gets filled up, but I can spend time with our kid and all.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I mean it's nice to discover parts of Singapore that looked different when you didn't have a child versus when you've had a child, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm at a phase where I'm sort of rediscovering nightlife and everything again, maybe. So that's why I'm out watching movies and.
What with your kid?
No. Just with my wife or my friends. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. But weekend was not as enjoyable for some other people.
I know. Some people work very hard over the weekend.
That's right.
Surprisingly, I was quite surprised.
And on to our first topic.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, over the past week, Pritam Singh has been embroiled in a number of things. The latest of which is a recent episode that was aired of the Assembly Season 2, which is a CNA show where they get neurodivergent journalists to ask public personalities or politicians or celebrities questions that maybe they haven't gotten asked before. The latest episode with Pritam Singh dropped 4 days ago, so November 7th. And it was a 28-minute video where, he was asked some questions that I also haven't heard people ask him before. I like how they started off with the first national TV interview, because they had to clarify, it's not the first interview. But I think a day later, Tong, who is the Minister for Law, gave a very, angry doorstop interview where he pointed out that certain things Pritam Singh said on the assembly were outrageous, wrong, and unacceptable. So, and that doorstop interview, the video came out on November 8th, so Saturday. So yeah, like working hard on the weekend lah.
Yeah.
Then the day after, on Sunday, Pritam Singh put out a Facebook post. So yeah, no break for them lah. We all at Gardens by the Bay watching movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
But did you? When did you first watch the assembly thing? Did you watch it when it came out, or only for like research for this?
Yeah, no, I did watch. I was watching it and listening to it, and I think I watched quite a number of the episodes in season 1. Season 2, admittedly, I haven't actually gotten to it until the Pritam Singh episode. So I was about halfway through, and until I saw Edwin Tong drop the bombshell about how angry he was about it.
Yeah.
And it made me like, I have
Watch
to
it
watch the
again.
whole thing.
I think a lot of Singaporeans will be watching it.
Streisand effect at work,
Streisand
right?
effect. Yeah. So basically, the most contentious thing arose when Pritam Singh was asked by one participant about how he felt being called a liar due to former WP MP 𝗬𝗲 𝗂𝗍𝗏's case.
Yeah.
So what Singh said in reply was that being in the business of politics means that political opponents will do whatever it takes to lower his and the Workers' Party esteem in the public eyes. And I need to say it verbatim because it will factor a lot.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you answer to your conscience first. If your conscience is clear, then people can throw whatever they want at you and you will be standing. And then he said, turning to the WP's performance in the 2025 election when his party retained 10 parliamentary seats, he said, and so at the end of the day, the court of public opinion can be a bigger court than any court in the world. And I think people have eyes, people can see what is happening. And before that, he talked about how the past elections, they did pretty well. So what Edwin Tong took issue with was that statement. And so at the end of the day, the court of public opinion can be a bigger court than any court in the world. And basically, he called it outrageous. And he said it as a threat to Singapore's rule of law. And I'm guessing you saw, like what you said, you saw that video first, Edwin Tong's video, then you went to watch the thing.
Yeah.
Right. So when you saw Edwin Tong's video, what was the first thing that came to mind?
Yeah, I guess I was just quite surprised because at least from because I had been watching about halfway through the assembly interview with Pritam Singh, and at that point I never felt like, I didn't feel like anything he said was particularly contentious or deserved such a rebuke from the Minister of Law himself. So I was quite surprised by how angry the whole reaction was. The outrageous statement, plainly wrong, completely unacceptable, especially considering that the assembly is not like they just filmed the interview last week and then it's out today. This was an interview that was filmed, I think,
in July.
July, right? Yeah. Very close to Pritam Singh's birthday, after the election.
Before our podcast with him. Yeah. So this had been brewing for a while, this interview. So suddenly that they have such a strong reaction to it, it was quite surprising for me. What do you think about it when you saw Edwin Tong's comments? When I saw Edwin Tong's comments, at first I was like, because I had not watched the assembly with Pritam Singh yet. I had seen a few bits here and there, but I had not watched the whole thing. Then I was thinking, alamak, what did Pritam Singh say now? Same thing, I went back to watch, and if I try really hard, if you just look at that line, at the end of the day, the court of public opinion can be a bigger court than any court in the world. It made me think, as much as I think it's a petty argument, there is some, I can see why, that might imply certain things. But then when you look at the things that what he said before, which is, and I quote, which I didn't mention fully just now, if there was something my conscience was not in agreement with, I don't think I'll be sitting here today, and I don't think we would have done how we did in the last elections. We did pretty respectably. At the end of the day, the court, blah, blah, blah. So when I look at that context, then I almost feel like it's a choice of phrasing, but it feels like he's getting at two different things. And when he says can be a bigger court than any court in the world, the word bigger also is not say powerful, it's not saying can be more influential and all that. So at the end of the day, I look at it, I'm like, it sounds petty on Tong Tong's part.
Yeah. Going back to look at it, and then I realized you want to understand the context, you go back to the original question that the journalist asked, right? how do you feel about being called a liar due to 𝗍𝗲 𝗂𝗏's case? So he wasn't asking him, how do you feel about your conviction in the case? How do you feel about what the court has convicted you of? He's asking, how do you feel about everyone or random people or commentators calling you a liar due to the case lah? So it could be anybody on the comments saying that, hey, Pritam Singh is a liar, Pritam Singh is a liar, which we see all the time in comments on YouTube and everything lah, right?
Yeah.
And how do you feel, how do you react to random people calling you a liar? That's how I interpreted the question that this journalist put up. So I didn't see it as like that his response was indirect response to the conviction of the case lah. I saw it as Pritam Singh, that was Pritam Singh's response to people who call him a liar. That's it lah. So with that context, like, yeah, it's a bit of to me, it does feel like a bit of stretch to suddenly say that what Pritam is saying about the court of public opinion is, denigrates our courts, our justice system. And I think he even said that it trumps, used the word Trump, right? Trumps the public justice system. The last thing is, I mean, of course, very, very, you can look at it very, very narrowly and say, saying that the court of public opinion is more important than any court in the world.
It's bigger.
Bigger than any court in the world. You look very narrowly at that, then, maybe you can say that, he's saying something about the justice system.
And the mob, like how like what Edwin Tong said, we don't have the rule of the mob.
No. I think just the justice system itself, not the rule of the mob. Even just comparing the court of public opinion to any court in the world, right? I think that's just a figure of speech. I don't think it comes across to me as, like specifically saying that the justice system is not working and the court of public opinion is more important. Because at the end of the day, his job is, as a politician, is to get votes from the public, right? So it just did not strike me that, it does feel like a very narrow interpretation of what he said. But then you add on the context of what the actual question was, then I realized like, hey, he's not talking about our justice system per se.
Yeah. But exactly like what you say, if you really zoom in, right, you can extrapolate, is he saying that with enough blowback from the public, they can almost overthrow a court?
Yeah.
Right? But that feels like you really have to whack on and layer on a bunch of your own interpretation. And I think what you said is true, because what Edwin Tong went on to go on to say is irresponsible politics should have no place in Singapore. So then it feels like, okay, you are taking this one thing that the Pritam said and really extrapolating to make it seem like, wow, he's being damn irresponsible and conniving. In fact, the one thing that for me I stood out more was during the interview, I think Pritam said something very explicitly like, they're politically motivated. There was one part where he said, there are politically motivated charges and all. To me, I was like, oh, to be that explicit about saying that I found quite surprising. Is it wrong for him to say that? I mean, the fact is that he is currently appealing a case. Yeah. With the whole misuse of funds for the AHTC case, they were also appealing a case, and in the end, it was settled out of court, right? So when you appeal a case, you are already disagreeing with the judgment. Yeah. But are you saying that the judgment itself is shit and is not objective? No, you are appealing because you disagree. Yeah. So in this case, like for Edwin Tong to go on and extrapolate and say all this shit, and then Chee Hong Tat also go and agree, and then Shanmugam also, what Shanmugam said on his post was, Mr. Pritam Singh says that any ruling by any court, bracket, which will include the Court of Appeal, does not really matter as long as he wins elections. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch.
It is. It feels like he's putting words in Pritam's mouth, right?
Yeah.
But just to clarify what you were saying earlier about, he said, the charges were politically...
No, so let me find exactly the words.
Yeah, I think it's important to say exactly. Because, in his response as well, he did say, my political opponents will do whatever it takes to lower my esteem. So that, initially, if you read that, it could sound like, the case was politically motivated. But again, you go back to the context of what the original question was asked by the journalist. The journalist was asked, but what do you think about, how do you feel about people calling you a liar? And he says, his response is, my political opponents will do whatever it takes to lower my esteem. So I thought to me, that was the response to people calling him a liar and not about 𝗍𝗲 𝗂𝗏's case per se lah. So so that part that you were saying about politically motivated charges.
He said it at the 2054 mark, talking about 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗏. When there was a question about who was the biggest donor to the fundraising call that Low Tia Kiang and Sylvia Lim put out to raise funds for the legal fees, Pritam said, I don't recall who was the largest donor. I remember many donations, blah, blah, blah. And he said, a lot of people don't want the Workers' Party to fail. We don't want to fail the Singaporeans. And then someone asked him, the court cleared you of that whole charges against 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗏. And he said, if we misuse the money, we'll be in jail today. So the fact that we're not, and the fact that the case was eventually settled, would suggest that some of the accusations that came our way probably were more politically motivated than reflective of what truly happened. So that, to me, I was surprised that he said that.
Yeah. But I mean, it's less certain. He's saying that it would suggest.
It would suggest. Again, but I mean, I was actually happy that he said that, because the fact that can be said on a CNA interview, which, I mean, has a pretty decent standing, to me is like, okay, these are the kinds of questions and answers that I want to see. But even then, like what you said, that probably were more politically motivated, would suggest and all that, it's not confirmed lah. But then when you look at what Tong saying, Shanmugam is saying, it feels like, wait, why are you extrapolating all this and going so crazy about highlighting what Pritam's saying is irresponsible and that it has no place in Singapore? Then it feels like, the rule of law is a cornerstone of our system. This is so we don't have the rule of the mob, and it's a very dangerous idea. That one really feels like a stretch lah.
Yeah. So in this scenario, if there is contempt for court, if this passes that threshold of contempt of court, then it'll be they should take it to court lah. It really is contempt of court lah, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where they will need to pull in the neurodivergent journalist in as a witness and ask him exactly what were you referring to when you asked that question lah, right?
Yeah.
So I think in some sense it will involve more than Pritam lah, basically. If you want to really take Pritam through that process of contempt of court charges, right? Then you have to look at the whole CNA program also, right? Like what was edited or what was left in, left out. Because definitely there were edits in the program as well. We don't 100% know if this is verbatim as everything he said, because there are edits in the program, right? For dramatic purpose or what. So, I mean, I think if they feel so strongly about it, then they should bring it to court as a contempt of court case, right? Whether the AG looks at it. I mean, in my opinion, right, that if it's really something that so many ministers are stepping up to say something about it, then they should bring it to court. And then that's where I think CNA, the journalists and all, also need to be questioned about their intentions in cutting certain things and all. And it will be something that everyone, the assembly, there'll be a special episode of the season.
Assembly in court.
Well, that is like must-watch TV.
Because Tong literally said in his doorstop interview, but Mr. Singh is delegitimizing our courts with his comments, saying it doesn't matter what he does as long as he gets elected. So in some sense, that's contempt of court.
You're very serious.
Delegitimizing it.
Yeah, very serious issues, right? If you delegitimize court.
Yeah.
And I would say then it has to be taken up as a case.
Yeah. And then we see what happens. At first, I was really trying to find that thin thread that Tong was going on. But the more you read about it, the more you replay and watch it, you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And it's just a waste of time. And the bigger problem is that a lot of things are spun out of this. Because even over the weekend, Lawrence Wong addressed the PAP, right? And there was a whole article about how he said, losing to Tampines, if they lost Tampines, if they losing Tampines would also suggest the WP's calculated appeal to Malay Muslim voters was an effective strategy and would encourage other parties to do the same. And then also, losing to Punggol would have sent the wrong message that voters did not care about the proven track record of an experienced minister such as Gan Kim Yong, who is Deputy Prime Minister. In both those statements, especially the second one, just because if the PAP were to have lost Punggol, it would mean that voters did not care about Gan Kim Yong, as opposed to the other, that they resonated more with what the WP was saying.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just the fact that all this came out, it feels like if they are accusing Pritam Singh of delegitimizing the courts, then multiple PAP ministers are taking one line that he said or something that the WP did before and extrapolating it and painting a hyperbole almost.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, what Lawrence Wong said was in the context of a PAP convention, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, I mean, he's
fair enough.
Party politics, all that. But I think if the Minister of Law is out there saying that an individual, a Singapore citizen, has committed, committed contempt of court, right? Then that's where it's like, it's very serious, and they need to examine it if they really think that it's a big issue. Although, like you, after watching everything, I'm like, even with the most generous interpretation of what, not the generous, like the strictest interpretation of what Pritam Singh said, it's also very hard to argue that, hey, this is like, he's talking about our judicial system per se, right? He said any court in the world, right? He's not talking necessarily about Singapore court and all as well. So, I mean, I because Edwin Tong is the Minister of Law, and he said that this is something as serious as contempt of court, I feel like this is, there will be more to this than just this statement. Which would be, like I said, it seems like a bit of a stretch.
But I mean, I can see people like supporting the post of the ministers and all, saying, oh, Pritam is a liar and stuff like that. Because if you just were to watch Edwin Tong's doorstop interview, it paints a certain picture. And what I was quite disappointed by also, CNA put out a video yesterday, Pritam Singh's remarks outrageous and undermines public trust in judiciary, says Edwin Tong, where it starts off with one of the news anchors talking about the thing, and then they show clips of Pritam during the assembly talking, but they never play his response. They never play his question. They only cut between different angles of him talking as the newscaster narrates it. Then they cut to Ed Tong Tong, who gets a chance to say what he said in the doorstop interview, and back to Pritam, but they never play the question nor the thing he said before that. So it seems to suggest that even CNA is getting into trouble for this and having to put this video out, because it feels like, CNA, that doesn't feel very journalistic.
Yeah.
Right. You want to give comments on something Pritam said, play the question.
Yeah.
So this whole thing,
but that's why I guess it's interesting also, right? The dynamic when people say, oh, our media is state controlled and there's no independent thought in Channel News Asia and all that. But now one of their shows or something that's said on the show is getting skewered, right? Getting a lot of attention, and even potentially it could be a criminal charge, right? Contempt of court, right?
Yeah.
Quite serious for CNA. I don't know if head's going to roll or something like that.
Whether there'll be a season 3?
Speaking of which, I don't know whether you noticed also, but just before Pritam's episode was actually Indrani's episode. She's the second Minister of Law.
And she's the leader of the house.
And right now she doesn't have as many views as Pritam Singh does. Her one has about 60,000 views. And it was released a bit earlier than Pritam's. Pritam's is close to 100,000.
Yeah.
So maybe there was hey, how come Pritam's won so many views? Need to address it, and then Indrani, our second Minister of Law, never get views. But I mean, actually, I do enjoy the assembly. I do enjoy what I've watched. Do you enjoy watching it? Have you seen? Yeah.
Because the questions are pretty well-ranging.
Yeah. They even asked about Leon Pereira and 𝗍, which is, a lot of people don't ask about when they talk to Pritam and all that, right? So I enjoyed watching the most of it. Ended with the show ended with a song, so Pritam Singh sang 𝗖𝗶𝘬𝗍, and then they all joined in as well. I saw in the comments, not in the comments, in Pritam Singh's Facebook post about the show, he also posted in the comments a video where they sang happy birthday song for him, and I think they had a cake for him, if I'm not wrong. So overall, everyone's very happy. Everyone walks away with a big smile on their face. They were very happy with the whole thing. But now, now this is cold water on the parade already, right? And I also wonder how all the journalists feel about it, especially the one that asked the specific question that now is being scrutinized for for, potentially denigrating and bringing down our justice system, right?
But I mean, those doorstop interviews, I saw some people in the comments saying it happened at a PA event or something. The background is always the same. I guess I would like to understand also the context of where these doorstop interviews happen. Because I mean, when it's on GE and all, doorstop interviews, you're moving around. When Shanmugam is, granting us 1 more hour at 𝘧𝗧𝗏, he's at 𝘧𝗧𝗏, kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
There's no where did it happen.
Yeah. But I think, at every Meet the People session, where they have the Meet the People session.
Really? They got doorstop? No, cannot be every session.
Oh, no.
All the news are represented there.
Oh, you're talking about why, where they do it exactly that would have space.
Yeah. Or is it Saturday, Tong Tong was like, I want to have a doorstop interview now. Then everyone's like, wow,
It could be, yeah. I mean, these things can be arranged.
I thought the concept of a doorstop interview is like, at the fringe of something, at like a...
But if your Minister of Law wants to make a very important statement, I'm sure arrangements can be made for a room and everything to appear, right?
Yeah.
But I did want to ask, is it also to do with the timing of everything, that Pritam Singh literally just appealed his sentence, right? So that was in the news, everything. Appeal meaning that he doesn't agree with what his conviction was. And so suddenly after, not say suddenly, but quite recently after his appeal, to have this also go out and add fuel to the fire of him, saying that the court of public opinion is maybe more important than any court in the world. You think it's a timing issue that this happened?
Actually, now that you pointed out, it might be. Because you look at Facebook's post yesterday also. He starts off, the judgment in my ongoing magistrate's appeal was released in February.
Pritam Singh.
Okay. Released in February 2025. The People's Action Party called for elections 2 months later in April 2025. The WP performed respectably and so on. This was important context before the remarks I made. Assembly, which was broadcast on Thursday, 5th November. The remarks not directed at judicial system, judges or their independence, nor did it denigrate any of these institutions. My case is currently under appeal with judgment reserved. So his whole post is kind of laying out the timeline for his case. So maybe it is the timing that is the bigger thing, and maybe that's what got Tong Tong so riled up.
Then that means CNA did him dirty by releasing this interview right so close to judicial proceedings, right? It's then that's not very cool on the producer's part also, or at least whatever the scheduling. I mean, because he is episode 3, I think, of this season, couldn't have released it either earlier or later or what?
That is an interesting point. Because his case for appeal was known, the dates, right?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. But one thing for sure is when you do a series like that, right? There are start dates and stop dates, or at least there's fixed timelines, right, for the release and all. But even then, I mean, even from our experience, right, there are ways to, especially for these kind of one-off interviews with different guests, you can vary up the order of release as well. So I guess the question I have for CNA and CNA's producers is, was there any thought about how close this interview has gone out, given that his appeal was literally a week or 2 ago, right? It makes you question then, wait, CNA, what's the decision process behind releasing this? Was there any communications with Pritam about it as well? Because, I mean, when you have appeared on CNA shows, and I've also guested on some CNA shows, I do ask about when is the show coming out, right? But more because I just want to find out exactly when it's coming out. So I don't think it's impossible that they knew that this was coming out as at this date and all.
I mean, when I Google or tried to find, apparently it was announced a few days leading up to November 4th that the appeal was done there. But it feels like it couldn't be just published in the leading outlets November 22nd, because the defense and prosecution need time to formulate their case.
Yeah.
So there's probably time involved. But even then, if they found out November 2nd, I mean, as a media house, a mainstream media company, things change all the time, and that shouldn't be an excuse saying we have already locked it in. That's interesting, because from our experience, not as a mainstream media publication or anything, but let's say, when we interviewed So Ryong last time, we're like, don't release it when the selection for who's going to represent Singapore is going to be around, right? Because it can have, some impact, you know. And when other guests come on, you do realize whatever they say has impact. Like when we recorded with Pritam, we wanted to get it out before Parliament sits. Because we knew once Parliament started, there'll be not enough time and there'll be many more important things to think about.
Yeah.
So this is a good point, Terence.
Yeah. That's where I'm like, if Edwin Tong wants to, call up Pritam, then let's call out CNA and the intention of the journalist asking the question as well.
Because this was recorded in July.
Yeah, this was recorded a while back, and they've had time to sit on it, for whatever reasons, So I think that's where, like, if Edwin Tong wants to call up Pritam Singh, then we have to open that can of worms and ask what is the exact timeline of everything and what was taken out, what was not shown. And let's see the unedited episode.
Yes.
Director's edition.
So because it does feel like the appeal on 4th, it come out on the 5th. On the 8th, there's Edwin Tong's doorstop interview. Yeah.
Suddenly it just throws everything into what's the timing is suspect. Because I'm sure they have like more than 3 episodes, at least like 6 or 8 episodes. It could have come out a month or 2 later.
Then it calls into question also for all these assembly episodes with politicians. Is there a review process?
I don't know. Yeah.
And who does the reviewing?
No, we don't know.
So basically it calls into question.
It calls into question everything about this whole process.
Yeah.
So let's find out more about the assembly, right? Let's call out the assembly also for how it's edited. Because at the end of the day, as far as we know, Pritam Singh is not involved in the editing of the show, right? Let's find out.
Interesting. Yeah. Suddenly the assembly becomes like the Avengers of Singapore, and they are the best jury out there, the assembly journalists.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing a pretty nice job of asking good questions. And the show itself is quite an interesting format, even though I believe it's adapted from a French format, right?
Oh, is it?
I believe so, yeah. If I remember correctly.
Interesting, huh? Lots of questions.
So I would say if you want to ask questions of Pritam, then let's ask questions of CNA and
Edwin Tong.
Edwin Tong, I mean, he's doing his job as Minister of Law, interpreting things the way he needs to.
But
right.
But I thought it's supposed to be based on facts, right? Not purely interpretation, right?
So I said, but it could be a very narrow interpretation depending on the person, right? So
is that the duty of Minister of Law to interpret? I mean, at the end of the day, what he's saying, what 𝗲𝗄𝗧 is saying is that the courts are impartial and independent bodies and do not judge on political factors but on facts and law. So if interpretation comes into play, I mean, at the end of the day, law is enforced by humans, so there's always going to be a level of interpretation. Just questions all around.
And the timing of everything also, right? The questions. Maybe we should try to get that journalist who asked that question on 𝗟𝗲𝗻, right? And then we can sit him down and ask him about, hey, what was the intention behind the question? That might be interesting.
Interesting. Hello there. If you're new to 𝗟𝗲𝗻, welcome. We cover the news from every angle, no matter how controversial. And we're going to keep creating the best possible content for as long as possible. So it would mean the world to us if you could hit the subscribe button down below. It's free and it'll really help this podcast continue to grow. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for being part of our journey. If you've been listening to us for a while but haven't yet subscribed, all I can say is, why not? I mean, it's free and it'll take like 2 seconds. So just do it now. Come on, just do it. Do it. Okay, I'm not going to stop until you do it. All right, done? Okay, great. Thanks.
But speaking of trying to understand people's intentions in saying or asking certain things, right? One of the world's richest men also said something recently that has the world up in arms about what he's saying, both sides of the aisle. Who's this person?
It is none other than Bill Gates, because there's going to be the COP30 talks. So that's the conference of the parties, and COP30 is the 30th meeting in the series, which is an annual UN climate meeting, and they gather to negotiate actions on climate change. So it's supposed to happen in Brazil pretty soon, but it was 2 days ago. Let's see, where is it? a couple of days ago, Bill Gates released a long-ass memo. I think it's 17 pages.
I thought it was on October 28th that he released it. So it was like...
Yeah. So, October, not a few days. So, like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
October 28th, he released a memo called 3 Tough Truths About Climate and what I want everyone at COP30 to know. So then he goes on to talk about certain things of climate change, which, like what you said, has caused scientists to get very frustrated, has caused people like Donald Trump to say that they have won the fight against climate change and that Bill Gates is a hoax. But in this article, he talks about a different way of looking at climate change. So to quote him, climate change is a very important problem. It needs to be solved along with other problems like malaria and malnutrition. Every 1/10 of a degree of heating that we prevent is hugely beneficial because a stable climate makes it easier to improve people's lives. But he also says things. There is a doomsday view of climate change that goes like this. In a few decades, cataclysmic climate change will decimate civilization. The evidence is all around us. Something very dire. And then he goes on to say, fortunately for all of us, this view is wrong. So when I was reading the essay and the 3 truths, it feels like if I were to just do a TLDR, he's saying that, okay, the climate change problem is still a problem.
Yeah.
Is it the biggest problem? No. And while we have some time, we should use our resources, even if it's energy intensive, to increase the rate of economic development and innovation, which would then lead to things that would help reduce climate in future.
Yeah.
Is that what you got?
Yeah. And even, I think, even in follow-up interviews as well, he did kind of say like, how funding, maybe about sort of shifting the attention of funding towards funding for health and development would actually help humankind a lot more than like necessarily putting it all in climate change, right? So yeah, it is a bit confusing lah. That's what I'm reading from Bill Gates. Because what is your impression of Bill Gates and climate change? What's it always been?
He's like an evangelical climate activist.
Yeah. That he's like, to me, after Microsoft and everything, he's dedicated his life towards like, solving some of these problems, whether it's eradicating poverty or climate change. Climate change is a big issue. But now when you read his memo and everything, does it feel like he's, like, to use Trump's term, like backtracking on this?
In some way, yes. Because, I mean, just a cursory research on like his stances in the past. There's this book, How to Avoid a Climate Disaster, where apparently he argued that mitigation or getting to zero emissions was the world's biggest challenge. He has previously described climate change as an urgent existential risk that demanded radical action to reach net zero greenhouse gas.
Yeah.
So it does feel like, I think that's the impression that people got. I mean, I know him as malaria and climate change. He wants to stop malaria and like prevent climate change.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's a bit confusing. Though, I mean, opinions can change over time with new research and all that.
Yeah. So
can we really fault him for that?
Yeah. The part that I found confusing is that I never saw climate change and human development as two like opposing needs, that where funding, if you choose to fund one, there'll be less funding for the other. Because I think we've always been working on this issue of trying to, or at least like basically the world has been trying to eradicate poverty for the longest time, right? But climate change is something that in the last few decades that we've come to realize is a more urgent problem than we think, right? Whether it was with Al Gore and Inconvenient Truth and all that start kick-starting the whole thing. But yeah, I just felt like, we've been going on this trajectory where more and more people are understanding the need to change certain things in our lifestyle to prevent further climate change. So for him to almost like declare like, now we've gone in that direction and maybe it's not the right direction and we should refocus our funding back onto eradicating poverty and everything. Just sounds like a damn strange backtrack for what he and his fellow billionaire philanthropist friends have been talking about for the last 3 decades, essentially.
Yeah. Right. So that's why it's annoying, because, I mean, you know how it's one of those things that when you hear as a citizen that you need to do your part, you need to stop using straws, stop using plastic bag, go through the inconveniences of separating your trash to recycle and all that, and people get motivated by that. You know, people make decisions that almost inconvenience them because they want to do good. But then when you see the numbers that corporates pollute the air or pollute the environment, it makes you feel like, then why are we doing all this shit? It's just like a con job, you know, but which takes away from the real threat that seems to be there. So in one hand, like previously 10, 20 years ago, we heard all these billionaires talk and everybody, you know, kind of like tried to research more and really built up momentum. And then now is the billionaires are doing it again.
Yeah.
And if you juxtapose this or you look at this in the context of what is happening in politics in the US especially, where there's a renewed emphasis on coal mining. You know, Donald Trump wants to drill and carry on with fracking and use fossil fuels, and you hear Elon Musk saying, yeah, we still got 50 years left before things get really dire. Then it makes you think, wait, is Bill Gates also succumbing or bending to the knee? So then it's like, what the fuck is going on?
And plus the fact that, I mean, Bill Gates is Microsoft, right? And all the tech companies, what they're investing in now, AI, right? AI that consumes a lot of resources, that needs a lot of energy, that needs a lot of data centers, that needs to keep all the funding still going on. It's the only thing that's keeping everything afloat, right? At this point, AI funding. So a lot of people are questioning, is it then him just realizing that all the data centers need fossil fuels to do all your ChatGPT searches and all? And this makes it would be completely hypocritical to keep on that path of talk about climate change and what a disaster is going to be, and at the same time keep building data centers that you know fund this lifestyle, right?
And I mean, even if they argue that data centers are needed for AI, which is going to increase the standard of living for everyone around the world, right?
Yeah.
That's the same argument by a lot of the developing countries when they were imposed with carbon taxes and also limitations on greenhouse gases, right?
Yeah.
Because I know the big countries, I think China, India, they were saying the West had all the time in the world to go and innovate, and pollute the environment.
Shit out of the world.
Now when we are in the stage of rapidly innovating, suddenly we have these curbs.
Yeah.
And then now, if what you say, which is not, you can totally imagine if like all the tech companies are like, oh shit, we need to go back to, you know, industrial age.
We need to burn more.
You need to burn more for the good of everyone.
Yeah.
That's damn bullshit. Yeah, so it just feels like, So that's why I can imagine why a lot of scientists are pissed. You imagine Greta Thunberg reading this. And I'm not saying I support the way Greta Thunberg goes about climate change as well, you know. But there are genuine concerns for the climate. I mean, we are feeling the effects also. You can't deny that temperatures around the world are getting hotter. It's also getting more extreme. That means it's colder than it used to be. The hurricanes, typhoons are all going crazy. And even if people want to say, oh, but that's the natural cycle of the earth and climate and all, it's still a problem. People are still dying. People are still getting killed.
Yeah. But I mean, one of his truths that is very relevant to what you were just saying, he said that temperature is not the best way to measure our progress on climate. So you feeling hotter, wanting to go to Flower Dome and all the weekend, it doesn't mean that the world is, that the world is getting worse or anything. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, true. And that's why, right, if you read his thing, like, let's say his mind is changing. Okay, take aside all these other things about he wants to build more data centers and all that.
Yeah.
Can his opinion not change over time?
Yeah, it can. Yeah. But that's why it's all very confusing, right, for people. And it feels like, I mean, the normal people, the non-billionaires of the world, have already started to go down on this trajectory of, like you said, reducing straws.
Yeah.
I don't use plastic bags anymore. Last time was like, every time you go to supermarket, like 7-8 plastic bags at a go.
And then how long I have to spend online to find these fucking biodegradable trash bags, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then I'm like, hey, because I want to save the planet.
Yeah, and then like all these companies like charging you 50 cents to send you digital bills because they can't send you paper bills anymore.
Yeah, then we have to deal with soggy straws.
Soggy straws.
You can't keep your drink for like an hour and a half because 30 minutes you got no more straw left.
Yeah. In essence, now Bill Gates is saying, all this is not as important as just human quality of life, right? If temperature is hot, then you learn how to switch on aircon or more efficient use of aircon.
If you're drinking a smoothie with a plastic straw, the net benefit of that is that by drinking the smoothie, you're healthier. So use the plastic.
Yeah. So it's just The whole thing is just really confusing, and I don't think the average person has the time like Bill Gates does to lock himself in a cabin every year and read a set of books that he wants to read. Apparently he does that.
Yeah, he does that.
Right, every year is his own retreat, right? So maybe we are not that well informed about the latest research that he's been reading and all. But I don't feel that his communication of this is particularly clear either. I listen to interviews and I don't really get what he's getting at. Like he's talking about needing quality of life very important, and there's funding that needs to be diverted from climate change towards improving humans' quality of life. I felt like has there ever been have we ever looked at it as a competition? Like there's not enough money out there. There's not enough money. Is there not enough money out there? We know where the money is going to. It's just not going to either of these things, right?
Yeah.
And isn't it more about diverting it from creating humanoid robots to climate change or something? Or what? Are humanoid robots going to solve all our problems?
Yeah.
You saw the demonstrations recently of humanoid robots
Not yet.
in China, and with Elon Musk and everything as well.
I mean, his $1 trillion compensation package just got approved.
Yeah. And people are squabbling about whether the robots are really have we reached the uncanny valley with our robots in the sense the way they move and everything. So it just seems like technological progress is inevitable, right? It's just marching on. But suddenly Bill Gates is sort of saying, let's 𝘙𝗪𝗏 a bit on this whole climate change thing.
𝘙𝗪𝗏, bro. Relax, bro.
Yeah, relax, man, relax. I'm like, huh? Everything else in the world is just marching forward, relentless speed, right?
Yeah.
But then he wants us to 𝘙𝗪𝗏 on climate change.
I mean, there was this one. Basically, if you look at the criticisms from the science community, especially, it is similar to what you brought up about why are you making it a binary thing where if we use funds for climate change, we got funds for nothing else? Because apparently last week Oxfam also released a stat saying that the 10 richest billionaires in the US, they grew by almost $700 billion in the past year, their income.
Yeah.
And when you look at the amount of money floating around the world, it's not a case of a finite amount of funds.
Yeah.
So they said, it's not a binary thing. And it also feels like by saying that it's not cataclysmic, it's not apocalyptic, you are making it seem like it's okay. And when you're talking about policies or things that might impact policy, people do take it very as binary. Trump, you can totally imagine the climate change skeptics. They are seeing this as a win.
Yeah.
They are basically saying all the stuff Bill Gates has said in the past, you can no longer trust it. And it's again becoming as polarized as politics. You either believe or you don't believe.
Yeah.
As opposed to just saying what you said. Yes, we still need to solve poverty. We need to cure malnutrition. But climate change is an issue, and it doesn't have to be. It's when people say, I can only care for this country, I can't care for other countries. Yeah, people might choose to divert their funds there or their attention there, but there's enough to care about all the problems in the world. Right? So, damn confusing.
Yeah. I mean, don't forget, even electric vehicles, right? We've gone down that road of electric vehicles. We're going down that road, the irreversible road already, right? Because we've basically everyone has bought into the whole climate change scenario, right? So what, now saying it's not that big a problem, we should go back to fossil fuels.
Because I got my Ferrari. Ferrari haven't started making electric cars yet.
Yeah, you need to get rid of all the charging stations that have been installed all over Singapore. It's just, what the hell is Bill Gates thinking, man?
And it's annoying because at the end of the day, we are like the lemmings.
Yeah. I mean, he's isolated in his fortress in Seattle and everything, right? And he'll just ship in whatever he needs to himself. So, when he says such a thing, then it just gives fuel to all the corporations and everything that have called climate change bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Don't know what to believe anymore, but just don't believe the billionaires. That's what I guess that's the question. All right, so what is your one Shiok comment, even though it hasn't been that Shiok of the two news topics? Okay, yeah, I got it. Yes. Joy Bearer on YouTube, just commenting on our interview with Andre Loh, said, I'm smiling the whole time while watching this podcast. It feels so wholesome. Pretty sure I'm falling in love with this podcast even when I initially disliked both of you.
Wow. We won you over, man.
Winning people over. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, mine was okay. So it was on the Spotify episode for Andre Lo. So Nicholas Gerard, he's got a long time commenter. He said, I really like this new format of sharing your thoughts after the interviews. It let you respond indirectly without interrupting the flow, gives your guests room to express themselves, and leaves space for listeners to draw their own conclusions. Thanks, guys. So he's referring to something that we actually just started doing on the Andre Lo episode.
Yeah.
Where anytime we have a guest on the podcast, we will interview them, Terrence and I, together with the guest. But at the end of the episode, we will just spend like a couple of minutes to dissect our own thoughts about that interview.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we've realized that we often do it on the next episode. But if someone doesn't listen to the next episode, then they don't have an idea of what we felt about that episode. Because after every interview with every guest, we always have our own thoughts.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets a bit lost in translation because it doesn't carry over. So we've had quite a few commenters saying that they enjoy that segment. So we're going to keep doing it. And if you didn't stay till the end for the Andre Lo episode, you can just skip forward. I think the last part is like maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Where we just share our own thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And what about your One Shiok Thing, man?
I guess, just reflecting on what I saw over the weekend. I think my One Shiok Thing is the Singapore Writers Festival that's going on now. What I watched was a play on the last Saturday that featured a rewriting or restaging of Joe Tan's play The Happy Place. I believe there's another one coming up this coming weekend, but in between there's a lot of other interesting talks and programs all going on, and I believe even a friend of Yala, but Don Xiao had a panel about political humor in Singapore, and Don always does a pretty good job of I think setting the context for why he does certain things he does, like in terms of or why the history of political comedy in Singapore. I didn't attend the talk, but it features, a lot of
history of political comedy.
Yeah, history of political humor in Singapore. So, if you missed that, that's fine. I think there's others also to check out in the next few days until this coming Sunday. So do check out the Singapore Writers Festival that's going on now. And I think Culture Plus can be used for a lot of stuff as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
My One Shiok Thing is just this random ass video I saw on YouTube, which led me to this guy's channel. So the video is called How to Make a CPU. The channel is Robert Elder Software. So seems like it's just a guy who understands everything there is to understand about the electronics behind a computer and programming and all that. So it's a 1 minute 40-second video where he literally breaks down an idea of steps you need to do to make an actual CPU in a very internet-friendly version. So the steps are literally get a rock, smash the rock. Now you have 98% concentrated silicon dioxide, purified to 99.9% pure silicon dioxide, purified further to 99.999%. And he just does one step. He skips through the technicalities, but he shows you visually what silicon looks like at the different levels of purity. He heats it up. He melts it down. Then he slices it to make silicon wafers. Then he puts it on a dish, and then he uses a match and very liquids in just mineral water bottles, pouring in it and going through the whole process of actually making a CPU. And it just was very mind-boggling because if you think about what an actual CPU chip is, right, it's insane how small it is and how much is squeezed in.
Yeah.
And for one thing, for example, I didn't know, you see a silicon board, there's so many lines and all, right? They actually use when they first cast it, there's one process is where you take a chromium etched photolithographic quartz mask with a circuit pattern cut into it, and then you shine a laser beam to project it onto the wafer. So what you're projecting is a shadow, and then you build the circuitry based off that shadow. I mean, it's hard to understand the more technical videos that go to an actual factory and analyzes the steps, but this one was just a very easy watch, and it makes you think, oh my god, it's insane how they make silicon wafers and how that powers everything in the world.
It's a very short video, right?
Yeah, it's 1 minute 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So you can skip through it, and it's just a very entertaining way. And all his videos are like that. It's what causes bit flips in computer memory. CPUs are smaller than you think. And interesting. Entertaining, man.
Cool.
Cool. All right. First episode of the week. Lots more. 2 more episodes coming in the week, and going to be an interesting next few months, because we have some exciting shit planned.
Yeah, this I kind of was like, I thought we'd be winding down after a very eventful year.
No,
But no, yeah. It's been an eventful year. I mean, now is the time, it's time for Christmas. So you would think everyone's winding down, but no, we're not winding
stopping. Down. And we got some super exciting stuff. Even like for us, it's pretty exciting, which we will let you guys know in due time.
Yeah.
But if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to share it with at least one other person. Follow us on social media. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Telegram, and Reddit. And we have a weekly newsletter where we consolidate all our One Shiok things, so you don't need to go digging through the episode descriptions. It's called Your Little Bit.
Yeah.
And you can sign up at 𝗟𝗟𝗏.com.
But if you want to work with us, just email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com or just check out ministryoffunny.com. There's a contact us page right there.
Solid. Cool. Thanks for listening, everybody. And we'll talk to y'all soon.